guys, it is Monday, January 19th? Oh gosh, I'm in the future. Hey guys, it's Casera, and today I have for you my January week 3 reading vlog. It is Sunday, January 13th. I can't believe that we're almost halfway through the month of January already. Feels like no time has gone by. I had to go to work today, but I did get some reading done on audiobook. I got 2 audiobooks from my library today off of hold that I've had on hold for quite a while. One that I started today is Smarter, Faster, Better by Charles Duhigg. So last month, in the month of December, I read The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. One thing I really loved about his book, even though it sounds like a self-help novel, it's very much based in the science behind what he's talking about. So I felt the same way with this one. I felt like there was definitely the science behind goal setting and those sort of things that's in the novel. And I also thought it was just a really great book to read in the month of January. I'm so far really enjoying it. I'm almost done with it. There's only 3 hours left. It's like a 10 or 12 hour audiobook. I don't know which. There's only 3 hours left. So I'll probably finish that either tomorrow or the next day. And then I'll pick up my other nonfiction audiobook, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which is also a pretty short audiobook. I actually have the physical copy of that book, so I might not listen to that on audio too much. I might actually pick up the physical book when I'm listening to it. That's probably what my audiobooks are kind of going to look like for this week's vlog. Fiction-wise, my wrapped book for the week is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I am not excited for this. I've already started it. I'm on page 26, right? I'm on page 26. I need to be on page 219 by the end of the week. Preferably, I would actually finish the book, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. So far, I'm liking it. Not much has happened, but surprisingly, I like Charles Dickens's writing style. He writes literary fiction, which I do have some experience in from college. In college, I did a lot of fiction rating courses, so I got to read a lot of literary fiction because that's basically, they don't do genre fiction in college, they just only do literary fiction for the most part. So I got used to reading a lot of that, and his writing is kind of like that. He uses a lot of similes and things like that, but in interesting ways. An example for a simile in college that they would say is a good simile is her head was like a cabbage. You know, it's kind of weird. You probably never heard it before. That's actually a simile that is frequently used as an example. Flannery O'Connor used that simile in, I don't remember which story that we read, but that was one. In this book, I had a similar experience because Dickens describes one of the men in this book as having lips like a fish. It just felt like a similar simile, I guess. I don't know. That's kind of a weird way to put it. But anyways, it's interesting on an intellectual level like that, writing style and syntax and diction and all of that. So far, the actual story is, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm not very far into this. I'm going to read a few chapters in this tonight now, and then I want to get to The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. I'm over here. I'm in the middle of the book, and I really want to finish it over the course of the next couple of days so that I can move on to some of the rest of my TBR, because I was hoping to be further into my TBR by now, and that didn't happen. So hopefully I can finish this early in the week and move on to some of the other books on my TBR. I made a bit of progress with Great Expectations. I made a lot more progress with The Book Thief. Not as much progress as I wanted to, but I had to put it down. It's hard to explain. I have trouble reading a lot of historical fiction really quickly. I can't read historical fiction quickly. Okay, so suspension of disbelief, there are levels to suspension of disbelief. If you're reading nonfiction, there's no suspension of disbelief. You don't have to suspend any disbelief because the events actually occurred, the people actually existed, and everything that it says in the book actually happened. For historical fiction, there's a little bit of a suspension of disbelief. The events may have occurred, the settings, the places occurred and happened, but the people are fictionalized and their actual stories are fictionalized, as opposed to, say, another genre like fantasy in which your suspension of disbelief is much greater because the worlds and all of that don't actually exist. Like, the events never happen, the worlds don't exist, the characters are fictionalized, everything is fiction, right? If terrible things happen in fantasy novels, it doesn't affect me. Like, deep, dark, messed up stuff happens in fantasy novels all the time, and I blow right past it without like even really noticing it. But little things will happen in a historical fiction novel that'll affect me in like profound ways that I don't even really understand myself and don't really know how to explain. The section I read, like, nothing horrible happened in the section I read. Like, nobody died. There were like no bombs. There were no gas chambers or anything like that, as you would expect in a Holocaust novel. The family, they were just talking about death in a way that was just so practical, in a way that death shouldn't be talked about in that way, but they had to because of the circumstances they were in. I couldn't keep going. Like, I had to stop because I knew it was going to get worse in the next chapter, in the next couple of chapters, because it's foreshadowed to get worse. And I just, like, I couldn't do it today. I'll get to it tomorrow. I'm just gonna go to sleep. I'm not gonna go to sleep. I can't go to sleep after that. I'm gonna pick up some fantasy and read it for like half an hour, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. I think I'll feel better after I read a little bit of fantasy. Start reading How to Speak Dragonese by Cressida Cowell. This is the third novel in the How to Train Your Dragon series. I read the first 2 chapters and this definitely did the trick. It definitely made me a lot happier. This is a great series and it's just so funny and adventurous. It just takes you on a wild ride with all these twists and turns. I'm only in the 3rd book of 12 and the books are all pretty short and they have illustrations in them, lots and lots of illustrations in them. So they're really short, they're really quick to get through, and they always put a smile on my face. This one definitely helped me out tonight. Hey guys, it is Monday, January 14th, and today I finished the audiobook of Smarter, Faster, Better by Charles Duhigg. I absolutely loved it. I found that I've really loved all of Charles Duhigg's books that I've read so far. So last year I read The Power of Habit. This year I read Smarter, Faster, Better. And I just find his books to be so well researched and just weave intelligent stories throughout the narrative of the themes that he's trying to convey that are just so helpful in understanding what he's talking about and even applying it to your own life. So I definitely recommend it. I gave it 5 stars. Loved it completely. After that, instead of picking up a new audiobook, I decided to continue The Book Thief on audio. I will be spending a little bit time with the physical book as well. I wanted to continue it while I wasn't at home and couldn't pick up the physical book, and also because I've been having trouble differentiating between The Book Thief and Great Expectations in my head. And I think the reason for that is they just have very similar atmospheres. So I really want to finish The Book Thief sooner because that's the one I can finish sooner because it's so much easier to read and more interesting to me. So I wanted to finish that one sooner so that I can get to Great Expectations and not like have it confusing me. I put Great Expectations on hold just until I finish The Book Thief, which will hopefully be tomorrow, maybe, we'll see. I did not feel like reading anything like that tonight though. I got home today and I had this urge to read fantasy, and not just any fantasy. I wanted to read one of the new books that I got. So there were 3 fantasy series that I was just itching to read in my January haul. So I decided to pick up one of those. I'm going to start reading Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. This is the first book in the Live Ship Traders trilogy, which is the second trilogy of the Realm of the Elderlings, which is like her whole big series. I have been meaning to get into her Realm of the Elderlings, so I decided to pick up this one, but the premise is very compelling to me. I decided, why not pick it up? It's been a while since it hasn't been that long since I've read high fantasy, but I'm just in the mood for it, so I decided to go for it. Tuesday, January 15th, and this is going to be very random, but I downloaded the audiobooks for the Harry Potter books because I had a bunch of extra Audible credits and I wanted to get the series so that before I go to sleep at night, I just listen to like 30 minutes of the book as I'm falling asleep. I used to do that with like random audiobooks that I was listening to at the time, but I found that I missed a lot of information sometimes because I would fall asleep before the 30 minutes were up. So I decided to do that with the Harry Potter books instead, which I've reread countless number of times already, so I wouldn't actually miss anything. Last night I fell asleep after like 5 minutes, so there was like 25 minutes of had played that I hadn't listened to. So this morning I was editing a video. I decided to listen to that 25 minutes while I was editing the video. I wasn't really paying attention to it at all, but out of nowhere, I hear the words Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by Newt Scamander, which just like caught me completely off guard. Not the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I always remembered that from the book, but the Newt Scamander part caught me off guard because I don't remember his name in the first book at all. And yet there it was in the book. Like 20 years later, I noticed something that I never noticed on the first, 10 reads or whatever. And it was just, I don't know. With the Harry Potter series, there's just such rich detail that every time I reread it, I get something new from it. And I don't even know how that's possible, but somehow it's possible. I'm so cold right now. So I don't turn the heat on in my house. I live in Florida, so it's really not necessary, but I'm considering it right now because it's getting kind of cold tonight. It's Tuesday night, and I haven't done pretty much any reading today at all. I didn't get any reading done at work, and I came home and I was editing. Oh, I did read today. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot. I finished The Book Thief. I finished it. The reason why I forgot is because I finished it at work today, early at work today. I only had like a few hours left in the audiobook. I kind of wish I finished it physically rather than in the audiobook, but I was at work and I didn't have another audiobook to read and I wanted to read it, so I just went ahead and did it. I really liked it. I was really hyped for this book. It didn't live all the way up to the hype for me, but I feel like that might just be the genre because I don't read a whole lot of historical fiction, and I felt the same way about The Book Thief as I did about The Nightingale, which I think The Nightingale is a fantastic book, beautifully written. I didn't feel it as much as other people felt it, and I felt the same way about The Book Thief. And they're both historical fiction. They're both World War II historical fiction. So I think that might be why. It's just not my cup of tea, I guess. I do think it was fantastically written. I loved the narration from Death's perspective. I liked the characters. I thought it told a very good story. And there were times that it definitely hit me harder than I was expecting it to. So I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. So I still really, really liked it. Highly recommend it. But it probably won't be like my favorite book ever or anything like that, how it is for a lot of other people. Other than that, I haven't done any reading, like 0 reading today, but I think that's plenty for now. It's pretty late, but I think I will get a little bit reading done. I'm probably gonna pick up Ship of Magic because I started it last night. I didn't get very far because I had to go to sleep, but I really enjoyed what I did read, and it's kind of one of those that I can feel myself getting lost in, so that's what I'm gonna do, and I'll see you guys later. Wednesday, January 16th, and I totally forgot to mention this last night, but I did start the audiobook of Think and Grow Rich, which I mentioned earlier this week that I would be starting. That one's going to be a really slow audiobook for me. I think I'm only going to do like 1 to 2 chapters a day, maybe. I had to pick up another audiobook, but I wanted to finish one of the books that I was reading before I picked up a new book, because I was at 7 books, like currently reading, and I try not to go over more than 7 books that I'm currently reading at a time. But I finished How to Speak Dragonese, which is the 3rd novel in the How to Train Your Dragon series. It definitely was not as good as the first 2 novels, but I still really enjoyed it, and I'm definitely going to continue on with the series. I ended up giving it 4 stars, so not bad, but not as great as the first 2 novels in that series. The reason why I really wanted to finish a book was because I wanted to start another book. Earlier this month, I put Leviathan Wakes on hold at my library. I wasn't sure if I was going to get it, which is why I had planned to read The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. But since I got Leviathan Wakes from my library this morning, I'm definitely going to read that one today, or at least I'm going to start reading it today. It's like a 20-hour audiobook. It's going to take me more than a single day. Hopefully it'll take me like 4 or 5 days so that I can really like get into the story. So I'm really excited for Leviathan Wakes. I've heard that it gives you kind of Game of Thrones vibes, but like it's in space because it's a sci-fi book. I'm excited for that. I've already read the first chapter like as I was just getting ready this morning, and I don't know how I feel about it yet. There's definitely a wide cast of characters, which is interesting, but we'll see how it goes. It's definitely an adult book though, just so you were aware. Like already in the first chapter, it got a little descriptive there in certain sections of it, but so far, I do like what I've read, and we'll see how far I get into it today. Really quick, I forgot to mention, I did read a bit of Ship of Magic yesterday. The main character we followed so far is Kenneth. I really like his character. He's very arrogant. I like gray characters, ones that are not necessarily likable, but like they have enough qualities about them that make them likable, or maybe characters that you like to hate. And Kenneth seems like one of those characters. So far I'm really liking this. I'm not very far into it. I'm on page 28, so I haven't even finished the first chapter yet, but so far, it's really good. I'm getting ready right now, so don't mind the hair. It is Thursday, January 17th. I don't have to work today, so I'm so happy to get some reading done today. I am planning on doing quite a bit of filming for like my regular videos on YouTube, so I don't know how much reading I'll get done. Yesterday, I didn't get as much reading done as I wanted to. I didn't have that much time at work, so I didn't really listen to the audiobook at all at work, even though like I really wanted to, because I finally got to start Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey, and so far, I'm really liking it. By the way, the reason I picked up this book was because Sam from Thoughts on Tomes described it as similar to Game of Thrones in the sense that there's this wide cast of characters who are all kind of focused on the political stuff, when as a reader, you get the feeling that, you know, alien shit is coming, which is similar to Game of Thrones in the sense everyone's squabbling over the throne when the White Walkers are coming. And I just really liked the idea of that. So that's why I picked it up. I'm on chapter 6 now. I'm starting to get that sense that something's not quite right. I really like it. That being said, the audiobook is moving a little fast for me. I think this book is more one that I really want to sink into and spend time with. I found myself like actually going back and re-listening to chapters of the audiobook just to like digest everything. So I think I'm gonna end up buying a physical copy of this book so that I could read it rather than just listening to the audiobook, because right now I'm not getting as much from it as I want to with just the audiobook. Last night I also made some progress with Ship of Magic, and I'm not very far into it. I'm on chapter 3, like only 60 pages into it. I'm on chapter 3 and I get it now. Like I understand why so many people on BookTube love Robin Hobb. I love this so much already. Only 60 pages in. I love these characters. The live ships are fantastic. There's only been one point of view like section from a live ship, but I really, really love it. I'm predicting it to be 5 stars already. I love the characters. I love how like kind of twisted they are. They're not morally great characters necessarily. Like at least one of them is, at least 2 of them is definitely morally great. They're definitely not necessarily likable characters, and I like them because of their flaws. I'm really enjoying this one. So this one and Leviathan Wakes, I'm definitely excited to be reading. I made some progress on Great Expectations as well this morning. I'm on chapter 12 now, page 84, which is not bad. Definitely surprised every time going into this one how easy it is to read. The writing is definitely easy to read, at least for me it is. While the story doesn't really compel me to continue picking up the book, I do think it's interesting in many ways. It's kind of absurd a little bit. It reminds me a little bit of when I was reading Catcher in the Rye. The characters are different, but they're written kind of in the same way. Surprisingly, I'm liking this. I did pick up the audiobook for this one. I've been like supplementing between the two because the other audiobook that I was reading was Thinking Grow Rich, which is another one that you really have to focus on. You can't just like absorb it more, if that makes sense. I feel a lot better about this challenge, by the way. I definitely think that I can meet the goal of 50% by Saturday, because I'll have that much of the book to read in order to meet that goal, and I think I can do it. I also think that I could probably finish the book by the end of the month at least. So this will probably be my classic for this month, and I'll move Pride and Prejudice to February, which I think that's a good month for Pride and Prejudice anyway, because February is Valentine's Day, so it'd be good to read some classical romance for Valentine's Day. Hey guys, it is Friday, January 18th. I haven't gotten a whole lot of reading done today yet, but I wanted to check in because I've made quite a bit of progress on Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I am now on chapter 20. And the plot of this book has finally started, and I'm actually finding myself liking this book. So basically the plot of this book is that the main character, Pip, who comes from very humble backgrounds, gets a mysterious patron who wants to help him become a gentleman with great expectations. And that has finally happened. He finally got the mysterious benefactor who's given him money so that he could buy an outfit to go to London. The reason why I'm starting to like this is because I'm starting to relate to Pip more. For the first half of this book, most of what I've read of this book, he has been treated like crap. Everyone around him treats him like he's nothing. And now he has this pocket full of money, so he goes to the tailor to get an outfit made, and suddenly everyone starts treating him completely differently. So the tailor starts calling him sir and waiting on him hand and foot and getting new measurements that are more precise so that the fit will be better for the clothes and all of these different things. And I started to relate to him because I had a similar experience in my last job. So in my last job, there was these large numbers of hourly employees, and then there was management. And there was a pretty big divide between those two sectors of people. And I was part of the management. But during my training, I didn't have the uniform that management wears to distinguish themselves so that people can find them. So I was just in the crowd of the employees while I was training. And then I went off to the corporate training. And when I came back, I had the uniform. So when I came back, it was so weird to see how people reacted to me differently than before. I was in the same building, in the same environment with the same people, and I was the same person. I hadn't changed at all. I had just changed what I was wearing, and suddenly everyone started treating me so differently. So I thought it was just interesting the way the same thing happened in this book, which was and this book was published over 100 years ago. So it definitely feels timeless in that sense. So I can see why it's a classic, but I'm starting to like it, which I was not expecting. So I'm very happy about that, and I'll definitely be finishing it this month. I was thinking for a little while that I might just get to the 50% and keep it on my shelf to finish it later, because I'm allowed to do that with 12 of my books, 12 of my unwrapped books, but I think I'll actually finish it, which I'm surprisingly excited about. So I'm going to be doing a mini unboxing for you guys. Obviously, I already know what's in it because it's an Amazon box, so I ordered it, but it's pertinent to the vlog this week, and I'm very excited for it, and I love watching people open boxes on YouTube, which is just kind of weird, but I figured you guys might like it too, so let's see what's inside. It's the box set for Leviathan Wake. They're a lot bigger than I was expecting. I didn't expect them to be this thick for some reason. I don't know why. I got Leviathan Wake, Caliban's War, and Abaddon's Gate. These are the first 3 novels in the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey, and I am so excited to get into these. I'm on chapter 15 of Leviathan Wakes in the audiobook, but I was having trouble with the audiobook, so I'm definitely excited to switch to the physical book. So it is Saturday, January 19th, and you saw me a little bit earlier reading Leviathan Wake, though there is one thing that I wanted to point out. Look at these 2 books. Do you see it? Do you see what I'm talking about? You don't see it? Okay, I'll point it out for you. So this is Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb, which I started earlier this week, and I really, really like so far. And on the cover, it's blurbed by George R. R. Martin. It says, fantasy as it ought to be written. Okay, I agree with you. It is definitely fantasy as it ought to be written. Okay, that's fine. And then this is Leviathan Wakes. Also blurbed by George R. R. Martin. And it says, interplanetary adventure as it ought to be written. Really, George? Really? Did you actually read these books? Or are the publishers just looking for a cover blurb? I think it's the latter. But so far, I am really enjoying Leviathan Wakes. I'm definitely gonna finish it this month, but it's just not gonna happen this week because it's huge. It's over 500 pages, and I didn't get that much time to read this weekend, but I will get more time next weekend, so I'm definitely excited for that. Additionally, as I mentioned, I started Ship of Magic this week. I have not gotten to it the last couple of days because I've been focusing on a few other things, but I definitely really love this so far, and I'm probably going to continue reading it tonight. I'm so excited that I finally found a book in the realm of the Elderlings that I really like, so yes, definitely getting to this later. And lastly, the other book that I've made a lot of progress on this week is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. This one was my wrapped book for this week, so let's see how far I got to it. I am right here on page 220. As I mentioned at the beginning of the week, I needed to be at least on page 219 in order to keep the book. 220 is past 219, so this is a success this week. I'm so happy that this one's a success because I was really worried about this one, but we're good. I made it to 220, and I'm actually really enjoying this a lot more than I expected it to. So I'm really happy about this one as well. So an audiobook, I'm currently reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This is gonna be a long one for me, so it might take a while before I finish that audiobook, but I don't have too many thoughts on it now, but I'll let you know what I think when I finish it. So now on to the books that I finished this week. So I only finished 2 books this week, which is low for me, but it still meets my at least 2 books a week goal. So I'm pretty happy with that, especially considering that I'm in the middle of 3 books that I really enjoy. So the 2 books that I finished this week are The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. So this book is narrated by Depp, and it's set in Nazi Germany, following the main character of Liesel Menninger, who is an orphan, or kind of an orphan at the beginning of the novel, and it's just kind of following her story. It is definitely a really good book, well written, and I can completely understand why this is so many people's favorite book. And I also finished How to Speak Dragonese by Cressida Cowell. This is the 3rd novel in the How to Train Your Dragon series. I really enjoyed reading this. It was a really quick read. I mean, it's really tiny. It's part of a middle grade series, so it's not that hard. It wasn't as good as the first 2 books in the series, but I still definitely really enjoyed this one as well. So the last thing I have to do before signing off this vlog is I have to unwrap the book for next week, and I'm kind of excited about it. I don't know what it is. I just picked a random book this time. I didn't put any thought into it. I just picked it off the shelf, so we'll see what it is. This is Bloodlines by Richelle Mead. I bought this book right after I had finished the Vampire Academy series. I had really liked the Vampire Academy series when I read it, but that was a really long time ago. So I bought this book to see if I would like more of Richelle Mead's writing, but then I started reading it and I didn't really like it, so then I DNF'd it. So, I guess I'm reading this week, and we'll see if I like it. If not, then it might be an unhaul. I don't know.
I kind of don't want to read it. I kind of just want to unhaul it. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I just saw something though. I swear I saw something.
I have to be careful when unhauling books because I use money as bookmarks, so I don't want to accidentally throw away my money. And I swear I saw a $1 bill in here, but I can't find it now. Yeah, I really don't want to read this book. I just don't think I'll like it, so I think I'm just going to put it in my unhaul pile, but I'm going to unwrap another book. Okay, so I just decided to unhaul that one, and I'm going to unwrap another one for next week instead. Okay, yeah, I can read this one. So this is Born by Jeff Vandermeer. It's a sci-fi novel, but it's like a new weird sci-fi novel or something like that. I heard that these are very interesting, but I've never read anything in this genre, and I've never read anything by Jeff Vandermeer, so I'm actually kind of excited about this one because I've been getting a little bit more into sci-fi, so I'm excited to see what this one is about. So that's all for this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I post videos every Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, so consider subscribing. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!